This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you get.
You have located GeekFest Rants, the entertainment podcast for genre geeks like you.
Shall we play a game?
Covering the world of vintage and current film and television since 2010.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Featuring in-depth conversations on sci-fi, horror, fantasy, comics, toys, and conventions.
So say we all. So say we all.
And now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show.
Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
Promised an army. You have a super soldier.
Cool. You sure don't seem too freaked out about all this, kid. What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds fun. But why stop at one world when we can show you all of them?
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and dare to face the unknown. Ponder the question. What if?
Give me the tour.
Hi everybody, and welcome once again to GeekFest Rants. My name is Carlos Perone. Today I have a guest, and that is Kyle Perone, my son. He is going to help me go over all the news that we got a couple of weeks ago pertaining to Marvel entertainment, meaning films and television, and Star Wars entertainment, film and television. Disney had their shareholders meeting or something, and they basically exploded with information about all the things that are coming. And man, talk about a busy couple of years we're going to be having. So let's begin with all this information.
Television is not the truth. Television is an amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business.
Okay, let's begin with Marvel. There have been a slew of announcements a few weeks ago, and we didn't jump on it right away because we kind of needed things to settle and to kind of catch up to it, because the speed of how things were being announced was pretty wild and fast and furious, no pun intended. But like at certain points, we would have access to a name, but we wouldn't have very fine details of what it was. And in the last couple of weeks, they've been able to kind of hash out a little more of what we're dealing with some of these projects. So let's begin with Wanda Vision. This is supposed to be the next thing that we're supposed to see. Keep in mind, we have not seen Black Widow because of COVID. So somewhere in the mix, Black Widow is going to end up getting thrown in here in some shape or form.
Yeah, we missed
Black Widow, and Eternals. Yeah.
That's right. So there's plenty of stuff that we haven't even gotten our hands on. It's funny because especially with Black Widow, like all the toys already came and went, believe it or not. They unfortunately for toy companies, that stuff gets done so much in advance and it gets released so much in advance sometimes that wave came and went. Same thing happened to Wonder Woman. Toys came and went. And with Black Widow, the same deal. So there wasn't really much announcements on either one of those two properties because they're done. They're basically done, more or less.
They just have to, well, Eternals, they never even started with trailers yet. We have seen absolutely nothing except for some toys that are...
But the production of the movie is complete.
Yeah.
So there's really no... Other than changing and adjusting the dates, there's really not much to do. With Wanda Vision, similar situation. According to what I see here, the latest and greatest, as far as the dates go, January 15th. So this one is right around the corner.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
They did release a new trailer for it, which kind of explains things a little bit more. Now, again, we're not going to spoil things based on our knowledge, or Kyle's knowledge anyway, of the comic book or the lore. But I remember the first trailer for this was very mysterious and very weird. And it's like, what the hell is this black and white sitcom-y kind of weird stuff? And in this second trailer, it's becoming a little more clear that this is a weird place that they're at.
This looks like it's basically a 9-hour Twilight Zone episode, essentially.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, and it's a series. So we're dealing with a series as opposed to a full-blown movie.
Yeah, nine episodes, and the first 2 come out Friday.
The second show is Falcon and Winter Soldier. Again, this one we've known about for a while. This one, I believe, has been also delayed.
Yeah, this was supposed to come out in August of last year, but then they didn't get to finish filming. They had like 2 weeks left, and then COVID hit.
The latest date for that one is March 19th. We've seen, again, another trailer. No major shocks as far as I'm concerned in terms of how the Wanda Vision trailer explains so much. This one is just kind of like more of the same. We kind of understand.
Yeah, this is for like the more standard Marvel fan, I feel. Like it's just action adventure, that's it.
And it's very like, if I imagine it more like Winter Soldier, Civil War kind of look.
Well, yeah, it builds off of all of that.
Right,
yeah.
it's there's a lot of that going on in this one. So that's your second one. Again, this is a streaming one. Then you have Loki, May 2021. Now this is the first time we got to see a trailer. This is, again, another series. And wow, this one does look so good in terms of how crazy and how they kind of weave them in and out of everything.
This is also supposedly the only show that's already been renewed for a second season.
Wow.
Already. And the showrunner of this show is apparently writing a Star Wars movie now with Kevin Feige.
Oh boy. So they seem to have a lot of confidence. Now granted, you have this actor, top-notch actor, right off of the movie, just like these other ones, but to get him to commit to do a series kind of presentation is really good, really good. Again, the trailer is probably one of the best ones. There's so many little Easter eggs and hints and hidden things in it that you're going to love this one. Then they showed us something called What If? And this is an animated show. And why don't you tell us, because I think we might have talked about this before.
Yeah,
the What If series of stories.
Yeah, they've been talking about this show since Disney Plus was announced, basically. Yeah, it's animated like anthology. Every episode is like a different What If story where like one of the episodes is, what if Sharon Carter was Captain America? Well, Captain Britain. Or what if Black Panther was Star-Lord or something like that. It's all a bunch of different stuff like that.
And are these considered to be alternate universes?
Yeah.
Or there's very short stories that they never really expanded?
No, they're all alternate universes. Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly like canon in the multiverse necessarily that they're establishing now, but it's just, these are all alternate worlds.
And I forget, does the term multiverse apply to Marvel or DC or both?
Both, yeah.
Okay. Up next, Shang Chi.
Yeah, they finished filming that during COVID.
This one is slated for July 9th. Now, this is the first of the theatrical new ones. Once we get past Eternals and Black Widow, this should be the next one up.
It looks like they're actually having this come before Eternals now.
Really?
All of a sudden. And I need to look at the dates again because they don't have Black Widow and they don't have Eternals on there.
No, they don't. Not in this list.
So
now the one we just talked about before, the What If, all we have right now is summer of 2021, so they haven't selected
they don't have
an actual
specific date on that. Yeah.
Now Shang-Chi is interesting because, at least for me, it's the creation of something new. In other words, this isn't a sequel. This isn't a spin-off, of anything. This is a brand new character that we haven't seen yet, really.
Yeah.
But is he associated at all with Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange? Not really, no.
It's not part of the mysticism of Doctor Strange or anything like that?
I don't think so necessarily. I mean, the Mandarin kind of has those magic rings, and he's the bad guy, so I mean, it could be, but...
Now, wasn't there some kind of rumor going around that they were going to somehow bring back the Mandarin from Iron Man as a real character as opposed to what he became in the movie?
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They already announced that like at Comic-Con a while ago. Tony Jaa, I think, is playing the Mandarin.
Right, but what I'm saying is that I could have swore they said they were going to somehow bring Ben Kingsley.
Oh, Ben Kingsley back? I wouldn't be surprised if they
in some shape or form because he was so good, and that was one of my biggest complaints about that movie was that I wanted him to be the man. I get it that it's a good twist, but he is such a great actor that I wanted him to be.
They could. I'm sure they'll bring him back. Honestly, for that, I feel like they would have to honestly just to further establish that
at least to remind you
this is the real Mandarin.
Right,
this is the fake Mandarin.
By now, these Marvel films have gone on for so long. I'm sure these kids are kind of jumping in halfway.
Iron Man 3 is like 8 years old now. I think.
Oh my God, that's insane. Miss Marvel. This is slated for later 2021. It's a television series.
Yes.
What is Miss Marvel, and how is this different than Captain Marvel?
She's a Muslim teenager who basically gets powers, and like she's basically like her favorite superhero is Captain Marvel.
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, Kamala Khan. So what the deal is with that is with the show is she's learning, I guess, how to have her powers and stuff. Oh. But she's already going to be in Captain Marvel too.
Oh, so they're going to cross...
Yeah.
Now, this is I assume this is a new character? Like, this hasn't been around for 30, 40 years?
No, she's been around for like 10, 15 years, I'd say.
That makes sense.
She's one of the newer stuff. She's definitely younger than I am, I'd say, in terms of when she was created.
Let's see. Again, late 2021, Hawkeye. Now, this is a series?
Yes, this is a series. It's
with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner's as Hawkeye, and then Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop.
I did remember seeing lately some photos of behind the scenes of her.
She's a big fan favorite. She's like, I'd say of all because it looks like they're setting up the Young Avengers team with all these new younger characters.
Are these the same actors in any shape or form that we got to meet as part of his family?
No,
in any of these other films,
but they are in the show. But no, it's not.
The characters are in the show, but they're not part of this.
That's not Hale. That like Kate Bishop is not his daughter or anything. It's but those characters from his family, like they're in the show.
Played by the same actors?
I believe so. Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
There's like set pictures where you see them.
Again, you guys got to keep track of this. This is another streaming service show. Next up. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Here we go, Multiverse.
Here's the thing.
March of 2022. Yeah. Now we're bouncing to next year.
Well, here's another thing they're kind of skipping because it's... All right, so with Wanda Vision and then Spider-Man 3 and then those are like forming a multiverse trilogy, essentially. That's like the basic system because Spider-Man 3 is supposed to come out at the end of this year.
Okay.
But first it's WandaVision that supposedly is going to set up the multiverse idea properly.
Doctor Strange, okay.
Then it's going to go to Spider-Man 3 where something happens and Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Okay,
and he might even, apparently there's rumors he might show up in WandaVision.
So WandaVision, Spider-Man 3, and then Multiverse.
And then Multiverse is that big climatic thing where they're going everywhere across all these different universes, and Wanda's going to be in that movie with Doctor Strange.
Now, from what I see here, the Doctor Strange film is going to be directed by Sam Raimi.
Yep, and he directed the original Spider-Man movies.
So now, let's not get ahead of ourselves because I know that this whole thing about multi-Spider-Mans and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, that's the rumors for Spider-Man 3, and there's like supposedly people have seen the actors on set already and stuff, but they're not official.
May 6, 2022, Thor, Love and Thunder. This brings back Taika Waititi.
Yes, they're filming that. I believe they're either filming that right now or they're like about to film. But they're using, this is the first Marvel movie where they're using the Mandalorian type stage.
Oh, wow.
They're filming in Australia, and then Christian Bale is going to be playing Gore the God
Has that
Butcher.
been confirmed?
Yes.
And I see here Jodie Foster is also in it. Teresa Thompson playing Valkyrie. Natalie Portman, we knew that. And I guess because, I mean, if Waititi is directing, I assume they're kind of staying in that mode from Ragnarok.
Yes. Also, it's been confirmed that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in there too. And they're already, all of them just went to Australia over the past couple of days.
July 8th, 2022, Black Panther 2. This is probably one of the quietest of all of them because of the fact that now they have to figure out how to change the casting.
Yeah, supposedly it sounds like they already know what they're going to do, but they haven't announced anything yet. But except for that they're not going to recast T'Challa.
Right, they're not going to just hire another actor and pretend it's him. And have they committed to not just CGIing the crap out of him?
Not 100%. Like if they do, it would probably only be for like a cameo type
because
thing.
You also figure that there's going to have to be a handoff.
Yeah.
He will most likely, I imagine, die.
Yeah.
In some shape or form, and hand off to the new one.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this before. If I ran things, if I was in charge, I know there's a lot of options. I mean, you can bring a completely new person that we've never seen before in terms of them being a new character that takes on the mantle. I would love to have Michael B. Jordan play him. I know he's dead, but this is comic books anyway, and the fact that you can have a redemption story where somebody is so hated and becomes the thing exactly that they need at the time.
The thing is what they can do with the whole multiverse thing that's going on. They can technically bring him back. They can bring anybody back at this point. Like they could bring Quicksilver back, which is something that people are thinking. They could bring back him. They could bring him back. They have an alternate version of him come back or something to help out. You know, like they could do all sorts of stuff. But the main rumor with this is that it's going to have to do with Namor the Submariner, who's basically Marvel's Aquaman.
Yeah. But is he a good guy or a bad guy?
It depends.
Okay, yeah, that's too complicated.
He has a lot of anger issues.
Yeah, who doesn't? November 11th, 2022. Wow, we're getting way, way ahead of ourselves. I'm amazed at how forward they're projecting this. And in the past, it used to be this is phase 1, this is phase 2, is this phase 5?
If it is, they haven't announced it yet.
Because there is so much of it, and they're projecting so much forward.
They haven't announced what the big story arc is going to be yet, obviously.
So like in the Avengers?
Yeah, like we knew, like by the time we got to Avengers, we knew what like was going to happen, where it was they were setting up Thanos.
It almost sounds to me like they're giving us maybe 2.5 years worth of cleansing ourselves from Avengers.
Yeah, but like I have a feeling like right now they haven't announced any like full team movies.
Right, that's what I'm seeing. But but the slate doesn't necessarily look like it could use more movies.
No.
Like there's more room for more, especially since the Black Widow and Eternals they've been backlogged. It doesn't seem like they're scrambling to fill any holes here.
No.
But anyway, November 11th, 2022, Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, with Kamala Khan
doing the crossover,
and then also Monica Rambeau from Wanda Vision, who because her character is in the first Captain Marvel we see her as a little girl. But in the WandaVision, we see her as an adult, and she's a superhero in the comics.
This one to be directed by Nia DaCosta in theaters. This is obviously a theatrical presentation, assuming everything is... It has to be. It has to be by 22 for crying out loud. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I assume this is a streaming thing.
Yeah. They're going to be filming that at the same time as filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So this is a one-shot thing, not a series?
No, it's a one-shot little thing.
Okay, it's like it's live action from what I see.
Yeah, it's probably just an hour-long TV
directed
special.
by James Gunn, so it's as official as it gets.
Yeah, they're going to film it at the same time.
And this is for, I guess, Christmas of 22.
Yeah.
Wow, we're now projecting 2 years in the future. That's incredible. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah, they're going to introduce Kang the Conqueror.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's going to be played by Jonathan Majors. And then they're adding
Catherine Newton?
they're recasting his daughter again.
Paul Rudd, Evangeline
and she's
Lilly.
she's another of these young Avengers that they're trying to introduce.
And Reed has directed both Ant-Man films. Wow. Now, have they started shooting any of these theatrical ones yet? Like
yeah, they just finished
Captain Marvel.
They finished Shang Chi a couple weeks ago.
Done.
They're filming Spider-Man right now.
Okay, but
they're filming
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, not yet.
So no Doctor.
Actually, oh wait, no, they are. Wait, yes, they are filming right now. Yeah.
Thor, no, not yet.
Not yet.
Let's go back here. Shang-Chi. Okay, so that's where we're as far as production goes, we might be around Doctor Strange right now.
Yeah, they're filming Doctor Strange right now. I forgot, but they just locked down because of COVID in UK.
Okay.
So they're on break right now.
So that's as far as we go on. Now, we know that Miss Marvel has been shot. We've seen footage. Hawkeye is in the process of shooting.
They're still shooting in New York right now.
This Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, probably not.
No, not yet. They're right now they're filming Thor. So
are they going to piggyback that with the other film in terms of shooting it? Like they're gonna.
That's what I just said. Yeah, they're filming.
I'm sorry, I was so wrapped up.
They're filming the holiday special and the part 3 at the same time.
Got it. So they're piggybacking. All right. So this Ant-Man film, TBA, they haven't given a date yet. But if we just finished 22, we're looking at 23.
Yeah,
most likely for this Ant-Man film. After that, we have She-Hulk, Disney Plus, another series. Jennifer Walters is joining the MCU.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the cousin of Bruce Banner, and in the comics, she gets her powers through like a blood transfusion.
Tatiana Maslany.
She was in Orphan Black, I believe.
Orphan Black, that's the girl. Okay. Mark Ruffalo will return, and Tim Roth as the Abomination. Now, Tim Roth played the Abomination in the other film.
Yeah.
So are we talking multi-universe here?
No, that's considered to be the same. Yeah.
That's right, because that general was in it, and he was in the other one too. So okay, that makes sense. This is 2023. We're looking at we're looking at over 2 years from now.
And this is supposed to be a half-hour episode legal comedy, basically, because Jennifer, she's a lawyer.
Now, comedy?
Yeah, because she's a lawyer in this, and in the comics, it's kind of a comedy, kind of.
Oh, I don't know if I'm.
Trust me, it will be good.
Okay.
But here's the interesting thing too: is that he teased Kevin Feige when he was talking about it. He teased that there would be other lawyers in the show. And the only other lawyer that we can think of is Daredevil, Matt Murdock.
Oh, well, they did talk about something about...
And there's talk that he might show up in the new Spider-Man movie, too.
Oh, jeez.
So they're probably bringing him back.
That's right, because they were making a big deal recently.
And if they don't bring him back for Spider-Man, they have to bring him back for this.
That's insane. All these properties are just nuts. Up next, to be determined, just like She-Hulk, Disney Plus, Moon Knight, 2023. What the hell is Moon Knight?
Moon Knight he's like kind of DC, Marvel's Batman, I'd say.
Okay.
He's Mark Spector. He's got like a personality disorder, but it's also part of like this like curse that came with his powers. Kind of, it's like but basically the whole thing is like it's supposed to be like an Indiana Jones type adventure show type thing. But basically Oscar Isaac is almost completely confirmed. They didn't confirm him at that presentation, but some of the crew has already confirmed that Oscar Isaac is going to be the role.
And they've also announced multiple directors, because it's a series, so I guess multiple directors. I don't know if they're hired guns or they are acting as showrunners or what.
I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, they made the announcement that they are directing a few episodes starring Oscar Isaac, so that's as official as it gets as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Up next, Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Disney Plus. Is this
it's another
animated show?
No, it's a live action show. It's the Nick Fury show.
Nick Fury and the Skrull Talons return. In Secret Invasion. Wow. Both Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn reprised their roles.
Yeah.
Ben Mendelsohn, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, from Captain Marvel. And they had a quick cameo in Far From Home.
So at this point, this is now this is like 1, 2, 3 streaming shows in 2023. They don't even say the year, but we know it's after 2022.
It could be 2022. They haven't announced. It's after 2021. They haven't announced any of the show's dates for 2022 yet. So it could be 2022.
Oh, you're right. Well, yeah, you're right. That's right, because Hawkeye was 21.
Yeah, Hawkeye's definitely the last show.
Some of these could be 22s. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, yeah.
Jesus. Ironheart. Again, Disney Plus to be announced.
Yeah.
We don't know the date, 22, 23.
She's based on, it's an African-American girl.
Riri Williams.
Yeah, she's an African-American girl who...
Dominique Thorne.
Kind of, I forget exactly how it was in the comic. I think it was like a Stark internship type thing, but then...
A young phenom who makes her own technological advanced Iron Man-style suit.
The interesting thing is that part of her character is she has an AI of Tony Stark, like, with her.
Ooh.
So they're saying Robert Downey Jr. might come back to do, like, voice acting for it. Yeah. Like how Paul Bettany did Jarvis. They might have him just do the voice of the AI for
Oh my God,
Ironheart.
this is insane. We're up to now 3 or 4 Disney Plus projects, and here comes number 5. Armor Wars, to be announced after Tony Stark's technology falls into the wrong hands. James Earl's War Machine. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. And then there's rumors that Justin Hammer's going to come back.
As a new series connected to the MCU. Again, I'm assuming this is a live action.
Yeah.
And, then you have, to be announced, who knows when, I Am Groot.
Yeah, it's a bunch of shorts, like little CG
will
shorts.
feature several new characters joining. Now, does this sound like live action? Or
I think it's live action, but
it's obviously heavy CGI.
But they're like 5 minute, 10 minute
Really?
little shorts. Yeah,
that's weird.
They're just little Groot videos.
I wonder how they would squeeze that in anywhere. Not in this list, I guess, because it's co-owned, but Spider-Man. So going back to Spider-Man, when is Spider-Man being thrown around here?
December is when it's supposed to come out of this year.
21.
Yes.
Okay, and
They're
that's
filming
gonna,
that right
and like
now.
you said, that will lead to
and then you missed
Doctor
one on there.
Strange. The last one here is well, actually, to tell you the truth, there's 2 that are missing here. Not only is Spider-Man missing, Blade is missing.
Yes, Blade is still... They announced it in San Diego Comic-Con, but they still don't have a date.
They don't have a date. They do have a star. They're still, I guess, writing it at this point.
Yeah.
And then the last one they have in this particular list is the Fantastic Four, or Fantastic Four. There's no "the" in this one, I guess, to make it sound different than the Fox version of them. Any idea what's going on with this one?
All we know is it's the same director who did Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, John Watts.
Yeah. And
no casting,
casting, nothing. We just know it's coming.
But they had a slate, I think, right? I thought they had like a graphic slate or something.
Yeah, it just has. But then there's also a big box where there's just random stuff. Yeah, that's on that box. So
this gives you possibly 4 years worth of television material and about 2 years worth of movies.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, not 4 years. No, it's still like about maybe maximum 3 years.
Well,
of TV.
but Hawkeye is the end of 21.
Yeah, and then the others are
that's right,
22 and then 23.
So 22 and 23 possibly. That's like 3 years worth of junk, and 2. So you are right that because of these other things that are going to get thrown around here, there could be some more movies that haven't been announced yet for this particular side of things. So I don't know about you, but this is remember, some of these plans could be changed. Remember what happened with that, what was the name of that show that was supposed to be a movie and then turned into a series?
Inhumans?
The Inhumans,
Yeah, they're trashing that. They're distancing themselves from that.
And I don't remember, I can't remember if that happened with any other of their announcements that ended up getting completely sidetracked.
No, everything else has been on track except for that. Yeah, but the other thing to remember too is because Spider-Man is still technically a Sony property. That was why they never presented on that in this original list. But then they also have this year they have Morbius coming out and Venom 2.
That's right. Those are way off to the side.
All 3 of those movies are coming out this year.
But those movies are not introduced as part of the Marvel slate, even though they're Marvel characters.
And they are connected now, basically,
Jesus.
because they've already confirmed they had the Vulture appear in the Morbius trailer.
Yeah,
it's all connected again now.
But why, if it's so connected, why don't they embrace it as part
because
of the...
Because it's a Sony. Sony still owns it, so Sony gets to present it.
So it's a matter of presentation.
Yeah.
Has Sony made a presentation like this lately?
No, Sony doesn't.
Do they ever
Sony doesn't have enough of a base to do that.
Right now they have 3 properties they could do.
Yeah, and those are the only things that are keeping them in the blockbuster game right now.
See, when they make these presentations, they should say, okay, but this was for Disney. Wasn't this for Disney investors or
Disney
something?
Investors, yeah. This wasn't the Marvel.
So they don't really care what Sony has in the works.
And also because Disney Plus can't have the Spider-Man movies on their thing anyway.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So as long as Sony has the rights, they'll never have the Spider-Man movies or the Venom movies.
Keep in mind that,
Disney
like
Plus.
Kyle just said, there's a couple of more properties that are off to the side, and there are probably some more announcements that they haven't really told us yet.
If Sony gets bought up or something in the next couple of years, then all the rights will automatically go back. But for now, nothing.
All right, so let's jump now to the Star Wars side, because this is all Disney. This all had to do with that presentation that Disney made to its investors, its shareholders, throwing in the raw meat for people to just completely devour. They jumped to Star Wars. And off the bat, obviously, we all know The Mandalorian is being renewed. We just watched season 2. It's incredible what they did. The fans are very happy with the direction of that show. This particular season, they threw so many bones at us, including Boba Fett, including Ahsoka, including the surprise guest at the last episode, which I wouldn't even say it. You guys figure it out. But pushing forward, there's going to be a Rangers of the New Republic property. Now, is that a show?
Yes, it's a spin-off show of The Mandalorian live action. Yeah.
Where is this taking place?
Mandalorian time. It's all
it's still in that post-Jedi.
Yeah, most of these shows are taking place at the same time as like The Mandalorian.
Okay, because they also mentioned Ahsoka. Is this the same Ahsoka? So
these
that's
are all most of these shows. They've already said that they're gonna all like cross over at some point to have this massive like event, like how Marvel did with Infinity War. They're doing that right with Star Wars shows.
They are all to take place during the events of Mandalorian, unknown when either show will begin production. I guess the only thing we do know as far as casting is concerned that Dawson
is an Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
And Dave Filoni is writing, I believe, and he's showrunner.
A lot of that one. Okay, that makes sense. So those two are kind of tied together.
And I also believe that one is, from what I've heard, is only going to be one season, the Ahsoka show.
Really? Wow. Now, at the time, it was suspected, and we'll talk about why at the end of this, that Mandalorian would be returning Christmas of 2021 because that's a year from now, from this last one. But we'll get to that a little later, a little more. The Andor Cassian show, they showed a kind of like a sizzle reel, I believe, behind the scenes. And that one is not taking place during this. This is taking place before New Hope.
Yeah, they're filming that, but they probably had to shut down now because of COVID.
Yeah.
Again,
so this is the pre-Rogue One era, if you will, of and from what we remember, it's supposed to be kind of like a spy adventure show.
Yeah, and it's I think it's supposed to be 12 episodes too.
Wow. I wonder if they have the guts. And I'm saying this because they've been very gutsy with what they've done with Mandalorian in terms of bringing characters that you thought you'd never see again, characters that you thought you wouldn't have access to. I wonder if there's any way that they can change the story so that maybe Andor Cassian doesn't die?
No, there's no way.
You think there could?
No,
you don't think so?
No, they both got nuked.
Like, maybe
they got nuked.
Maybe they could listen. This is all fantasy.
They got burnt to a crisp.
That could have been a transmission to fool the Empire into thinking that
no, it's done.
I'm just
done.
I'm just putting it out there.
They're dead.
We'll check again in a year or two.
They're
see what happens.
Dead.
They talked about the Obi-Wan. We knew about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series with Ewan McGregor reprising the role. But what's interesting about this announcement was that they were going to throw in Hayden Christensen
as Vader. Yeah,
as Vader, because he cannot be Anakin at this point, and that is a very unusual casting, because if you think about it,
they have to do flashbacks. They have to.
It has to be flashbacks. Then maybe it's flashbacks as Anakin.
Like, I'm hoping that one of the episodes is just an hour-long live-action Clone Wars episode.
Well, that's the thing. There's no point in bringing... they have actors who have played Darth Vader because they're wearing the costume. So if you're going to bring Hayden Christensen, you're going to use his face. Yeah. So it's going to have to be a flashback type of scenario.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get James Earl Jones to do the voice of Vader, of course, but yeah.
Now, this doesn't start shooting till March of this year.
And apparently, for the private investor meeting, because they showed like extra stuff to like the higher paying people, obviously.
Now they
showed a picture of Vader like sitting on a throne.
Well, that's the thing. According to this, he is not playing Anakin Skywalker. He's playing Darth Vader. But I don't believe that.
No, that's a bunch
There's no
of crap.
point in bringing him if you're going to just throw him in a suit.
They've got to do a whole live action Clone Wars episode. Like they've got to do that or something like that where they have like a big thing. But they said I think it's going to be only 4 episodes. It's a mini series. It's only going to be that one season. And it's going to be 4 episodes.
A short series, a limited series. Up next, we have The Acolyte.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the Mandalorian.
This is High Republic era.
This is like 10 or 20 years before episode 1, I think, or something like that. It's before episode 1.
But I'm not too up to date on this, but wasn't there a I don't know if this is the High Republic or the whatever you call it, like 1,000 years before?
Well, no, that's the old Republic.
Okay.
That's mostly EU now.
Okay.
But the High Republic, they just launched books and comics. That's their new books and comics line.
And you said it's 10 years?
Well, that whole thing is about like 100, 150 years before Phantom Menace. But this is supposedly saying it's towards the tail end.
So it's
like the last 10, 20, 30 years.
And is this live action?
Yes. I think the showrunner is the Russian Dolls showrunner, creator.
Headlands. Oh, I saw Russian. Yeah. That was a good show. My
theory with this is that it's actually a Palpatine origin. That's my theory. I think it could be Plagueis and Palpatine.
Wow, if they do Plagueis, the fans have been itching for Plagueis.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Wow.
Because that book was one of my favorite books of Star Wars.
Now, again, all of these things we're talking about, these are Disney Plus properties.
Yeah, they're shows. Yeah.
Yeah, this is in movie stuff. At least at this stage. Another one they announced that it was another fan favorite is the Bad Batch.
Yes, I'm so excited for this.
Now, the Bad Batch, for those of you who don't remember, they were in the Clone Wars, and then they returned for this last quick season.
They were only in that quick season,
right? But they were supposed to be part of the normal season, and then the whole thing got ended abruptly, and they never got to put them out.
There were supposed to be there were apparently 2 arcs that we know of. There was this arc that we got for the short final season, but then there's also an arc where I believe they go with Yoda to Kashyyyk, and they're like fighting on Kashyyyk for like a mission. But this is supposed to be a whole new show that picks up right off at the end of the Clone Wars, and it's in the same art style, and they've already shown like a minute-long sizzle reel.
Yeah, they did.
And where they actually show from The Mandalorian, Fennec Shand is in it as like a younger Fennec Shand.
Yep.
I'm so excited for this show. This has the potential to be one of the best Star Wars things.
Well, it's basically the best of Clone Wars if you think about it.
Yeah.
That type of...
And they can have like anybody show up in that show. It's great.
And I guess it's a continuation time-wise of what we last saw with the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
it's now. Granted, the Clone Wars, we got that Ahsoka ending that kind of pushes forward a lot, but with her and Vader. But as far as the other characters goes, this kind of continues along the same track.
This is going to be basically showing what happened to the clones after the Clone Wars, and like I guess the transition into
before Rebels,
into like the humans and stuff instead of the clones.
Right. Star Wars Visions. Anthology anime series.
Yeah, they're like, I think like shorts, like
international
little short films.
Diverse stories.
Yeah, they're like all like anime style animated short stories, short movies.
Again, we have no dates on any of this. This is a little more swishy than the Marvel stuff. So this is something else completely, comes as a surprise to everybody. Yeah. Then you have Star Wars: A Droid Story.
Yeah, this is the thing that I feel like I have the least information on out of all of this, because I'm not sure, is it supposed to be animated or is it supposed to be live action?
I think it's animated. Don't quote me on that. But according to this, it should focus on C-3PO and R2-D2. If you guys remember the old Droids cartoon, the Ewoks and Droids, well, this could be a reboot of the Droids, half of that thing back from I think it was like 1985 or something. I assume one way or the other, Anthony Daniels has to be connected to this, like it or not. He's always going to be there for this.
I'm curious. I would be interested if it was live action. That would be pretty cool.
You never know, but the thing is, you can't do everything live action, and you have to kind of fill a little bit with animation. Mm-hmm. You could say to yourself, well, it's a little cheaper, it's easier to make. No, animation is a little difficult too, and it takes even longer.
Yeah, it has its own challenges. Yeah.
Right. But I think they're going to try to follow that formula of give everybody a little something. Give them the high-end stuff, and give them the kind of low-endy. This almost sounds a little comedic, almost, a little lighter.
Yeah.
So that's I think where they're going with that. Lando.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
This is something that when we saw Solo, that's one of the first things I said to myself is, how do you get this character to come back in some shape or form? And I still say that Solo would have been a better received if at the time we had a streaming service and they could have broken Solo into a series. If that entire mythology of Han Solo could have been done as a series, and it would have been more successful.
Yeah, I hope what they do with this is they continue that story and they bring in Alden Ehrenreich back, and maybe this could lead into its own little thing, like how The Mandalorian has its own spin-offs now.
Yeah.
Maybe they could do Lando have his own spin-offs so that it turns into like...
According to this, it's unclear right now whether it's animated or live. I hope it's live.
Oh, it's got to be live.
I really hope it's live.
It has to be.
But again, in order to save money, that's when they sometimes go the animation side.
It has to be live action, and right now they could have Donald Glover or Billy D. Williams or both in the show. Yeah.
Justin Simeon is the showrunner, the guy who's developing the show. Mm-hmm. So that's another one that I'm interested in seeing. Now, the big presentation or the big reveal at the time was an actual film. Now, before we talk about this film, let's talk about what they did not talk about. They did not talk about Rian Johnson. Remember, he's supposed to still have a film or a trilogy in the works or something. Mm-hmm. Not a peep from him. We know that Waititi is involved in a film.
They did talk about it briefly here, but
there's no name there's no assignment. There's just he's involved in something. But
we also know Kevin Feige has his own movie that he's working on.
Again, that's another side project.
And he just got the writer from Loki. The showrunner.
That's the one you were talking about earlier. Okay, and the Game of Thrones guys are out the window. They've already left the. So in theory, we have 2 films. Plus this right here. And this is called Rogue Squadron. Going to be directed by Patty Jenkins, who just directed the second Wonder Woman film, who most likely will direct the third Wonder Woman film.
Well, she is. They've already announced they're fast tracking.
She's gonna get
and
involved with
an
that.
Amazon spin-off for HBO Max.
Really, I'm more interested in that than another Wonder Woman.
Me too,
film,
honestly.
If it's anything like what this one was. But anyway, I don't want to give that's another show that I already pre-recorded. This had a little bit of a sizzle, not a sizzle reel, but like an inspirational kind of thing. It's a little thing with Patty Jenkins talking about her upbringing and how she loved jets, and her father was in the Navy or something, or in the Air Force, and how she's always been fascinated by speed and this and that. And is this the same Rogue Squadron as the EU Rogue Squadron?
You mean Luke's Rogue Squadron?
Wedge and
that's Rogue Squadron. That's always been Rogue Squadron. So
this is what this is.
Yeah, I guess we don't know what I don't know. This could be Rogue Squadron from like the future or something. I don't know. This could be anything really.
Now, what's interesting about this is that this is slated as the next theatrical film.
Yes, 2023.
December of 2023. We're talking about a long time from now.
Yes.
1, 2, almost 3 years from now. It's amazing how much of a break they're taking. They're taking what used to be the traditional break. In all of the original trilogy, they would usually take a 3-year break. And it's not because they were tired, because that's how long it would take to make these films.
Yeah.
But here, again, this is all backlash for Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and, burnout. They burned out a little bit. So obviously they're doing more television stuff. And right now, The Mandalorian alone is on fire, how hot that show has been and how well received it is. And at the time, this was it in terms of that's all that they had announced up until this presentation. However, during the airing of the last episode of Mandalorian for season 2, not only did they keep quiet a reveal at the end of a special guest that, again, I'm not going to tell you, figure it out on your own, but there was a post-credit scene of Boba Fett entering Jabba's castle, and in the dais, in the throne, if you will, was Bib Fortuna. And they exchange some words, and then he shoots him. Boba Fett shoots him, and he's with the other character.
Yeah, Fennec Shand. Yeah.
She's there too. So they shoot Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna is huge. He's been eating quite a bit, like Jabba, I assume. And he seems to kind of take the mantle. He sits on the throne, and they announced the Book of Boba Fett, December
2021.
2021. So That's very important because not only now does this create a spin-off of The Mandalorian now, which is officially they're spinning off some characters, but the premiere date is now being picked up by this Boba Fett show, which means a Mandalorian will then become maybe a spring show?
Maybe, it depends.
Or the next year?
Yeah.
Because we don't know how they're going to interlock these two shows.
Yeah, we'll see. The thing what they were doing is they were going to film Mandalorian as soon as they finished filming the Boba Fett show, which they didn't. It's not clear if they finished filming the Boba Fett show because they never said that they were filming it, even though but the thing is there were rumors about a week before the Mandalorian season 2 dropped that a Boba Fett show was being filmed, like at that moment. And I was calling it. I'm like, okay, this is what they're gonna do, and I knew it. I knew what they were gonna do. I knew they were gonna do this, and I was like, yes, they did it. And,
yeah. Now, if you guys remember, a long time ago when they first announced all these plans, and the plans changed so many times, and at the time this was all films. This was not streaming services. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, remember, we're gonna do a Yoda film, we're gonna do a Boba Fett film, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and they didn't do it. But now it looks like what they're doing is they're taking some of those original ideas and turning them into television shows. At least with Boba Fett, and I don't know if they're going to actually do a Yoda show. But look at Mandalorian. Mandalorian turned into a Yoda-ish, kind of show, and a Boba Fett-ish kind of show. So they kind of got what they wanted in a different manner. And now they have a full slate, as far as I'm concerned, for 21, 22. And the film slate goes beyond, but we don't have names yet, but it's after 23 is over. So we got 3 years worth of streaming material, and I think there might be actually more, because I don't know if the stuff we just talked about is enough to fill 3. It is probably enough to fill 3 years, as long as they and they are pretty heavy with live action, because live action is going to be their meat and potatoes, and animation is going to be the filler. That's kind of how it works. But granted, not as a huge slate as Marvel, but this is Star Wars. This it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So I think this gives us a pretty big amount of stuff altogether, that if you kind of pepper, Disney Plus between Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, we're going to have a pretty full slate as far as I'm concerned. And you never know. There might be a couple more little surprises here or there. The presentation also had an announcement about the confirmation that, they are doing a final Indiana Jones, a 5th Indiana Jones film, and the Harrison Ford is attached and blah, blah, blah. No details as usual, but they kind of confirmed that we're still...
Oh, and there's the Willow show that they're doing.
Oh, that's right. That's another Lucasfilm property, Willow. So, again, it's not necessarily Star Wars, but it is Lucasfilm. So there's a lot of stuff there in the works. So you guys should, if this is the thing you're into, you're in good hands. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. We went all over Marvel, all over Lucasfilm. There was just so much stuff. It was a very good day in terms of all that information we got a couple of weeks ago. We purposely waited, as I told you before, to talk about it, because information kept coming like the day after, and then the 2 days later, and then a week later. And as of now, even though, again, we've waited quite a bit, there were a couple of extra items that were revealed little by little. One of them being that on the Marvel side, there's confirmation that Deadpool 3 will be made. It's on the slate. It's not, part of the phase whatever, phase 4, phase 5 lineup, but it's one of these side projects, and once again, it's going to be rated R, just as before. They've also confirmed Ethan Hawke as the villain in Moon Knight. They've also talked about in the What If series is going to be the last time we get to at least hear Chadwick Boseman's voice as Black Panther. That's going to be very special. There was a rumor floating around, I'm not sure if this was confirmed, that Chris Evans is going to return in some shape or form to the Captain America role. I'm not sure exactly what that means or if it will actually happen. And there is still the X-Men somewhere in the horizon. That's going to be coming in the horizon. That's probably most likely a I would imagine a Phase 5 type of thing. Wouldn't be surprised if they tease it sometime soon, when we get towards the middle or end of all this other stuff that we're talking about. Then on the Star Wars side, there was one thing I wanted to come back to, and that is the fact that Hayden Christensen is going to be coming back to play Darth Vader. And I was trying to theorize on how can they make him play Darth Vader, or how can he not play Anakin? If you want to see his face, how do you not take advantage of his face? There's no point in just putting him in a Vader suit. Anybody could do that. However, what I thought of later is, well, his voice could still be used. And better yet, this is an Anakin, most likely, that is not a Star Wars age Anakin, but a younger Anakin, an Anakin that might still look like a Vader that still could look like Anakin Skywalker. So what I'm thinking is some kind of a scene or sequence where, as Darth Vader, we get to see him unmasked, similar to what we saw during Empire, where somebody comes up to him and he's not wearing the mask, or even in Jedi when he unmasks. Obviously, you're not going to get that kind of a dramatic sequence, but you could still, if you don't go the Anakin route, the flashback route, you could have a modern day, of the time, of the era, Vader that just happens not to be wearing a mask for some reason or the other, and you might be able to see Hayden Christensen in, Vader makeup, the scarred head and the hair, missing and all that kind of stuff. So that's a possibility of one way they could kind of work him into the story. So, yeah, that's another thing that I kind of thought at the last minute. Figure out, I would try to share that with you guys to see, eventually which way they do go. Well, I'd like to thank you guys as usual for joining us, and we'll soon see you again here at GeekFest Rants. Bye-bye, everybody.
I love to move fast and speed of any kind. I think that that's because I grew up the daughter of a great fighter pilot, and every day I would wake up and go outside and look up and see my father and his squadron taking off and their F-4s roaring across the sky, and it was the most thrilling thing still I've experienced in my entire life. So when he lost his life in service to this country, it ignited a desire in me to turn all of that tragedy and thrill into one day making the greatest fighter pilot movie of all time. But try as I might and look as I did, I couldn't find the right story ever. I kept looking and looking, but I just couldn't find the right one until now. Now I found a movie about two things I love. So I'm going to see you very soon.
If you would like to subscribe to our show, send us messages, or see video links to some of the topics we talked about today, please visit our homepage at geekfestrants.com or our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or iTunes at GeekFest Rants.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
GeekFest Rants is produced by Carlos Perone, copyright 2021.
This broadcast is part of the IC Robots Radio Network. Visit icrobots.com for this and many other nerd/nostalgia related podcasts. You won't be sorry for long.